All right, what's up, Coach? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Nick Aldiero. Nick is a client of mine. He's been part of the Sports Accelerator program since 2020. He shares in this interview how he's made $773,000 since he has started in my program. Watch this all the way through. He's going to share why he's successful. He's going to break down all the numbers in his business. There's so much to learn from Nick. He's an awesome success story in my program. And if you are interested in my program, go right below, tap on the first link in the description after you get done watching this interview and set up a call with me. Can't wait to chat with you. All right, what's up, guys? So welcome back to the channel. And today we got Coach Aldiero again. This is part two of me interviewing him. And Nick, you've been a part of our program for how long now?
2020.
Got it, man. So we're 2025 right now. And if you want to give people just like quick backstory, like before we met, what were you doing in
Yeah,
your life
so
before we met?
so I was a phys ed teacher for 15 years. I was coaching high school basketball. Started off as a volunteer at my old high school. Then I was getting paid years later to coach girls JV basketball while being a phys ed teacher. Um, and I started training actually in 2014. Started like a YouTube channel, got like one or two kids to do like private one-on-one lessons, going to their house for 40 bucks. Could only get two kids. Didn't know really what I was doing, and I was like kind of stopped. I stopped doing it.
Hmm.
And then so I stopped after like maybe a year of trying in maybe 2013, 2014. Then I got a girls JV coaching job while I was teaching phys ed, just coaching head JV coach, assistant varsity. Um, and then about 2019, the head coach started letting me do like group sessions at the gym, the high school gym. So I was getting like 20 bucks cash, walking
Hmm.
around like a drug dealer. I had like thousands of dollars in cash. Some people wouldn't pay me.
Hmm.
I had to ask for money from other people, and no system. But it started, because he let me use the gym, it kind of propelled me. Um, then in 2020, the vid hit, and everybody was home, and that's when I started working with you.
Yep. Yeah. I remember right after that happened, that's when we had our initial call. Um, and obviously like a lot has changed since then for you,
Mhm.
the business, all the kids that you're training. Kind of give people a glimpse shot or just like a glimpse of where you're at now with your business compared to where it was before we started working together, 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have a business. I just was, I made probably 3K in 3 months. Like I said, doing those group sessions here and there, no real structure, collecting 20 bucks cash. So I wouldn't even call it a real business.
Hmm.
Um, but now in 2024, I did 2007, yeah, 279,000 in revenue. Um, so yeah, big difference
Amazing,
from
man.
from quitting to going back to it to not knowing what I was doing, and it cost me I always tell myself I cost myself millions of dollars not getting help right away.
Hmm.
If I just started right away, because it's not something that's, it's not brain surgery, but you still need to know how to do it.
Hmm.
And I wasted so much time. I don't regret it because I was able through teaching.
Hmm.
I was able to not master, but get really good at communicating with a lot of kids.
Hmm.
So like all those years were basically honing my skills for running the business, because that's the main thing as coaching and teaching is your ability to communicate. And if you can't do it in front of a lot of people or a lot of kids, it's going to be hard to scale.
Hmm.
So I wish I started sooner, but it also set me up to prepare.
Yeah.
So yeah, big difference from 2019 collecting $20 per kid, some people not paying me,
Hmm.
making maybe $3,000 over the course of 3 months to almost 300K. So
Yeah. And I saw that the last post you had in our school group, you had 4 people sign up and you made like 10 grand up front, right?
yeah, in February, yeah, two
Yeah.
payments of 3K and two payments of 2K that'll roll. The 2K will roll over automatically every 6 months.
Nice.
3K, yeah, 3K was the one time. And I was just thinking about that actually because I didn't put this in the group, but I was like, I would I don't even think I could have asked for that much money. Um, back when I first started,
Mhm.
it would be like I don't even know if I could get it out of my mouth. But you know, and then with your help and just learning everything, it just got easier and easier to just keep, raising your price because it's more valuable.
Yeah. You have
Um,
a great program. And I'll never
yeah.
forget, it was on one of our first calls. You might not remember this, and maybe you do, but I'll try to remind you. I remember you were like, yeah, I hate talking to parents over the phone. Like I hate sales. I remember you said that. And it's funny, there's
I
another guy who told me the same thing like a couple years before you told me that. And
yeah.
he sells like one of the highest ticket things I see in this industry.
Oh,
And
really? Is he a basketball guy or is he
he's a football guy. He sells a $40,000 consulting package
yeah.
to parents. And but I remember you saying that, and like now it's like you making these types of sales. It's just normal for you because you've done it so much, and you've been open minded, and you've put in a
No,
lot of work.
I specifically remember that. I said I hated it. I never even did it before. Um, I
Yeah, you
just
didn't
just
even
the
know.
thought of it, was like, because like when I was a phys ed teacher, like every once in a while, you had to talk to parents, like if their
Mm,
kid was like bad or something happened, and I was like, I hate calling
mm,
parents. I mean, it's for something negative too, so
mm,
it's a different type of thing. But I was just like, I don't want anything to do with talking to parents. I just want to coach, help the kids and teach. But yeah, it's just like anything else. It's, learning what you taught me just forced me, out of that, to get out of my comfort zone. And now it's like, I've had so many thousands of conversations.
mm,
It's nothing. Like it just rolls off the tongue, saying that you have a process and
mm,
it just flows and you've had that conversation thousands and thousands of times and
mm.
it's like nothing. It's just part of the regular work day.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And I want to try to put this into perspective for some people that are watching this. If they haven't sold anything for $1,000 up front or $2,000 or $3,000 up front, like that might sound just absolutely insane in their mind to be like,
Mhm.
there's no way parents will pay that much. But the thing that I want you to try to unpack because I've done this in my YouTube channel, but it's different when other people say it. Why do you have the confidence to charge that much? No one that's watching this video is going to be like going into the gym to watch your sessions. Like they're not going to have that
Right.
level of insight. But why are you charging that premium when other people are just charging, super low? Like what would you say is the biggest difference between what you are doing and everybody else?
Well, number one, I'm very confident in what I do and helping kids and the amount of work that I've done um, with being able to teach really anything, but specifically basketball.
Hmm.
I've done it more times than the person you're going to, and I know that because I've done it for so many years before I even had a business. So
Right.
you can't compete with if I'm doing something for 6 hours every day for 15 years, you can't compete with me. If you're just starting, you can't compete with my ability to teach something that
Mhm.
you just started doing. So that's number one. Just being able to communicate it. Number two is the work that I've done just studying basketball. Um, so that combined with communication, plus over over the money is also over a long period of time, whether it's
Mm,
6 or 12 months. So it's not like, hey, give me $2,000 a month,
right.
right? Don't give me, I don't need your mortgage payment, but
Right.
it's over the course of time because it takes time to get results.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's outside factors other than just when I see you in person in terms of adding, the homework, a community, online community, telling them what to do on their own. Most kids don't know what to do on their own. And what if they do know what to do, which 99% don't, they don't know if they're doing it correctly. So in my program, they can post videos and get feedback directly from me. Now, obviously, they have to take action and do it.
Hmm.
So, and then we have a mindset component where we teach mental performance coaching, um, which I've been into since I was in college, studying that. So, three pillars: detailed in-person skills training, um, mental performance coaching, where we take notes and we'll sit down like a classroom session at the session, and then online accountability, doing the work at home and then getting feedback. So that's very valuable to people who take action.
Right. Right. Yeah,
So
because
that's
the
why I charge
parents,
more.
yeah, because the parents at the end of the day, most parents are in 2025 are just conditioned to paying a basketball trainer for, you know, lessons. Like, oh, we're gonna do this whenever we want to do it, and then like we're gonna pay you this amount when we see you.
Yeah,
And this is why like your program, like you have a program. It is not a
right,
lessons type of transaction.
right,
It's people have to buy in. So
correct.
the thing I'm curious about, what do you think is the main thing? Like if you had to boil it down to one thing, like what's the main thing that you feel like is just like the normal outcome that kids get across the board when they work with you for a year, for example?
Uh, the normal outcome is being just way more skilled, way more confident, and having the mindset tools to apply like mental performance stuff to other areas of
Hmm.
life and sports. Now, it might not hit them within a year,
Right.
but it will hit them when they're older and adult
Hmm.
because kids they tune out their parents, right? Mom's saying the same thing as Coach Nick, but Coach Nick's thing sticks,
Hmm.
right? And it might not hit him over a year, but and then the next year it might hit him. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's just of the like you said, it's a program with a culture. It's not lessons and I'm coming to your driveway and whenever you feel like it, it's
Right.
either you have to buy into our culture. Every great program, whether it's a team or we do skill development, but like they have a culture
Hmm.
with values and
Hmm.
what we believe in, and
Hmm.
hopefully what I believe in will trickle down to um, you know the kids, which is discipline, focus, effort, attitude. Um, but yeah, I think anybody who's successful has a culture to their business or their program, not just lessons on Coach Up or lessons.com and here's $40, coach, and I'll show up and go into your
Hmm.
driveway whenever you want. And that's the most amateur way of running a sports training business.
Right.
Um, and I hated it then, and I didn't even know why I hated it when I was doing it. I was like, this doesn't I don't
Feel
even
right.
know why I don't like this. Yeah, but I didn't know any other way. But because that's the way that everybody starts,
Hmm.
right? Everybody just thinks of that, and
Yeah.
it's just thinking about it now, like physically makes me mad.
Yeah.
Like I
No,
get
me
like
too.
upset. Like I get mad. But people will treat you based on the way you allow them to treat you.
Hmm.
They'll abuse your time, allow you when you allow them to abuse your time. They'll
Yeah.
abuse the way they pay if you allow them everything. You set the standard.
Hmm.
People will fall in line if they want to do it. And if they don't want to do it and they don't agree, well, they just don't do it. I don't go chasing anybody.
Right.
I actually push people away. I try to repel people who don't have the same values as
Mm-hmm.
me, who aren't accountable, who don't
Mm-hmm.
read things, who can't be on time. Because if they're like that, then their kid's going to be like that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to push those people away from me because I don't, most people are just like, oh, take the money. I value people buying into my program more than money.
Yeah.
And the money will come from the standards that you set over time.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do things. The reason why I work for myself is I want to do things my way. I don't want to do things their way. Otherwise, I'd be at the school district handing out straws at lunch duty still.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. I want to control, who I work with.
Yeah.
And money is just a byproduct of being good at what you do, but it doesn't mean you have to take everyone's money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing because yeah, I've always said this to myself, and it's sitting right there too on my notepad. I see it every single day. It's like I'm gonna attract the type of person that I want to work with, and I want that person to be like me.
Yeah,
And if they're not like me, they're gonna be hard to deal with. And
correct.
when I look back at the year and I look at some of the difficult people that I worked with, I always get mad at myself because I'm like,
Yeah,
why did I do that? Like I went
yeah,
against my standards. That is my fault. It's not that person's fault. That person's never
right.
going to change. They're going to be the way that they are for the rest of their life. And, you know, it was on me. And that's why I like what you said,
Yeah,
because when you work for yourself, it's your business. No one's going to determine and dictate how you're going to do it.
right.
Like, because you're the one talking to the parents, you're the one doing the sessions. Um, and I do know too, when you let one bad seed into your program, it's going to affect the whole
Yep,
group session, and
I've done it,
and
and I
and
was
it's
mad, like you said, I was mad at myself.
yeah, and it screws everything up. Um,
Yep.
cool. And like I know the answer to this, but like people that are watching this don't. Like when you said earlier, you made over 200. What was the number? 240 or 270? Okay.
Yeah, 279.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many guys work for you?
Well, it's just me, except on Sundays when I have my Little Hoopers program, I'll hire another three coaches to work a basket, but that's just one day a week.
Got it.
So it's yeah.
Got it. So you have help on one day out of the week. And then how many actual hours of training per week are you doing? Like what's the average week throughout the year? Like when you're not running camps and
S
clinics.
six.
Cool. So 6 hours per week, right? Um, okay. So if you were gonna make $279,000 teaching, how many years would that take you?
Uh, let's see. When I stopped, I was probably making like 60K a year. And
Got it.
that was after like 15 years. Maybe a little over, maybe 60, 65.
Got it.
I can't even remember.
So it'd be like 4.5 years of work, but you're working like all day.
Yeah, we got there, let's see, maybe 8:30, left at 3:30 or yeah,
Got it.
you had to
So,
be there. I mean, you're not working all day because there's all this other bullshit that goes on, but I mean, you're still there. Um,
right. And
so
so you're working 24 hours a month of sessions. And then if you're running camps and clinics, that's on top of that.
correct. Yeah, but obviously there's more work to do on the back
Correct.
end of being, uh, setting. A lot of people don't understand that. So like they hear
Yeah.
like, oh, you work 6 hours, plus number one, like, well, I'll always like if the gym's available, I'll stay after with the kids and play,
Mhm.
um, which they love. And I don't even tell the parents that that's a part of the program. So we'll stay like another 30 minutes if nobody's coming in and we'll scrimmage and the kids love it. But definitely keeps people in the program longer. So I don't count that with that 6 hours, obviously, but
Right. It's
that's
fun.
just like play time for me, right? Because
Right.
I get to play and have fun with the kids. But yeah, there's so much. There is. there is work to do.
Hmm.
There's so much work to do on the back end,
Hmm.
running ads, making pages, setting up spreadsheets, making sure your website, everything works. And I remember I remember when you started helping me with Kajabi, you're like, you're going to change this a lot. I remember you say that, and I'm like, and yeah, you're definitely right. Changing website things and how and the funnel of people applying and
Hmm.
learning new software and coaching kids online. So there's so much more to it. So if somebody's like going to hear that and they think like it's still easy, it's not.
Hmm.
It's not easy. I mean, it's the work. You still got to do all the work behind the scenes, unless you want to hire that out, which
Right.
I haven't done yet. Um, but
Got it. Yeah. And I do know this personally, and I have seen this with hundreds of people. The ones that go from, because like you went from like 100K to where you're at now, right? Like 100K per year to where you're at now.
yeah, it was like 50. It was like 50 the first year, and then 97, and then 183, and then 279.
Got it. And it's like, this is what I know about coaches. When they make a certain amount of money, let's just call it 100,000.
Yeah.
A lot of people get comfortable
Hmm.
because, and it can depend on where they live. 'Cause I know some people that live around your area that have been like, yeah, like I need to make 20K a month to like
Yeah, depends where you live.
pay
Yeah.
my rent, pay the rental for the basketball business or whatever I'm running. And it's
Yeah.
like, so money can be different for everyone depending on how they live, right?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that they get to 100K per year and then they get really cozy and comfortable and they don't do some of the stuff you're just talking about. It's like they're not changing stuff, they're not making stuff better. They try to just keep it the same. And when they keep
Yeah.
it the same, it just eventually that starts to just trickle down. So it's like
Yeah.
you're you're probably, I mean, I don't live with you. But I probably could guess you're probably working harder right now and more focused right now than you were when you're making $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
As far as like making changes, making things better, um, being willing to like shift around your ads, try ads, like, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. But it's like you're the moments that you are working on the business, like those are probably more. I don't even
Yeah,
want to say
they're
focused.
longer. They're
Yeah,
longer. Yeah.
yeah,
Takes more time. Um,
yeah,
writing emails, I was just I mean there's so much to it that people don't think
yeah.
of. Um, so I mean it's not like you can be lazy and do this because
Correct.
my teaching job was 20 times easier
Yeah.
than this.
Yes.
Um, it might have been more technical hours.
Mm,
Um, but I actually spend more hours doing this because I can do them at all hours of the night and all times.
right.
Um, no matter what it's doing, whether it's making videos, tinkering with
Hmm.
website stuff, or running
Hmm.
ads, or learning about ads, or um, there's always something you can do for the business.
Yeah.
There's literally always something you can do. Um,
Hmm.
so there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
for sure.
Got it. And so I know you're running ads, right? You've been
Hmm.
doing that for a while. So tell people that are watching this, like, how did you how did you first start running ads? Like, let's go back to like the very beginning, because I know you did like the agency thing. So kind of explain like what was your process like with that, and why did you start running
Yeah,
ads?
tried to do it on my own, but it wasn't working. I didn't know what I was doing, and then I hired an agency, and they kind of set everything up for me. And I would have calls with them, um, which helped me learn a little bit. And it was already set up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is working.
Hmm.
Because they set it up, but it just cost me, an additional $2,000 a month to go through them, in addition to ad spend.
Hmm.
So I was like, what if I put that towards the ad? Like I could probably
Hmm.
get, more people. I just wouldn't have their help. Um, And then I got help from somebody else from school. And something that's interesting that they showed me is to test the same campaign with I'm looking at it right now, manual placements versus Advantage Plus. You know what
Hmm.
I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you have the campaign, but then you have two different ad sets. And then one ad set is manual placements versus Advantage Plus. And then
Hmm.
within those ad sets, you have basically the same ad, and you're testing them against each other. Which works better, the Advantage Plus or the manual placements?
Hmm.
And that for me has helped a lot, especially with. And then I set up like my columns on Facebook with like so I could see the ROAS
Hmm.
return on ad spend. Because I also run ads direct to make a payment for a clinic. Those are
Hmm.
direct to sell, and they work. So you just start to figure it out, and now you just get more comfortable with it, and then you can see the look. You just read the numbers.
Hmm.
Once you're comfortable with it, it's not as hard as I thought it was.
Hmm.
You just basically read the numbers, see what's working, and tinker with it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, anybody can do it. It's just, and then you raise your prices to pay for more, pay for more ads for the main program.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but it works. It works because the thing is, no, because nobody knows who you are, even though in your mind you think you're so popular. Because that's what I used to think. Um, but I just keep telling myself like nobody is going to know anybody else more than they know me in the area. Like you're gonna once they click, you're gonna get bombarded with my shit. I see because I told everybody who I get on a call with, they're like, yeah, I see you all the time. I was like, yeah, you
Hmm.
clicked once. I'm all over you. And
Hmm.
I'm not leaving unless I block you because you're annoying. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I will outspend anybody who's doing what I'm doing because I'm not afraid to spend money, which helps me make money.
Hmm.
And that's the advantage I think I have over somebody who's paying, 8 grand, 10 grand for like a facility. Because I could just
Hmm.
take that money, let's say I'm paying 3K to rent different gyms around New Jersey.
Hmm.
I'm taking everything else, I'm taking another 3K and putting it into ads.
Yep.
And I'm charging something that's either 2K or 3K.
Right.
So I don't need that many sales for it to work or break even now that
Hmm.
I'm doing that up front. So you're not going to outspend me because you can, because you have to pay for other stuff. And you're probably scared to. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not scared to because I know that it'll pay me back with exposure. Because if nobody knows you, nobody can buy anything from you. And
Hmm.
I'm obsessed with people seeing my stuff.
I know the biggest reason why you're obsessed with it is because you know your program helps people.
Correct.
And you know that the only way people will buy is if they come into your funnel and get on a call with you. Like they have to, and they see you first. You're putting it out there. They see it. They respond. They're taking the steps to get on the call with you, um, and there's room for margin because you're selling the higher ticket thing that I
Mhm.
know most coaches. Um, I mean, I know this. 9 out of 10 coaches that I ever talked to have never once in their life sold anything for more than $500 ever.
No, and they don't even most of them won't talk. They don't talk to anybody either. I
Hmm.
know for a fact the people that are in my area don't talk to people. I
Yeah.
know for a fact because I've had people say like, yeah, I thought this was like a little bit much for my kid to play basketball, but like I think that like this is actually really cool. Like so they were skeptical of even getting on the call with me,
Right.
and then by the end they were like, oh, this was actually helpful. Like I thought this was a little bit too much. Like I've had people say that to me.
Right.
Um, and then they realize, oh, okay, like this is actually the best way to do it because you're getting to know
Hmm.
my child before we even do anything.
Hmm.
Nobody else is doing that. And if I never went and got into your program, if I never met you, I would still be teaching. I would be pissed off at my life, and I would never have made the money that I made. And if I was doing basketball, I'd be doing it like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And because those guys own their own facility, and they think they know what they're doing. They really don't. Um, they don't, and they could be doing way better. Um, but I would say most of those people were afraid, either afraid or didn't think they needed help, like from somebody who did it before them, who was
Mm-hmm.
focused on the sports business.
Mm-hmm.
So many guys are obsessed with like drills and
Mm-hmm.
this and that, and like, dude, that's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy. You've been around basketball for if you're 30, you've been playing basketball for at least since you were 10.
Mm-hmm.
You have 20 years of basketball experience. You have like 2 years of like selling experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
you suck. Like you suck.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I sucked. When I started, and I
Mm-hmm.
was 30 something years old, and now I'm 40. So like you will, if you take the right steps to invest in the right people, you will learn and be ahead of everybody else who thinks they don't need it because they're a basketball expert. Your basketball expert doesn't mean anything in the world of
Mm-hmm.
business. It helps, obviously, the better you are, but it's not. That's 50% of the game.
Yeah. I hate saying this out loud, but I know there's some people that need to hear it. It's like it's honestly heartbreaking when I talk to people that I know they have the passion to help kids, they have the experience, they they know that they are good at helping kids, but they're like severely undercharging or they just they haven't made changes to like truly do this as a full-time thing. It's
Yeah.
because they are very obsessed with like the stuff that you just talked about. It's like, well, they want to try to make their drills better and they want to try to do that, but it's like at the same time they don't have a program. They're
You have no
really good at
program.
coaching, but there's no system behind what they do and
Hmm.
there's no predictability behind what they have. So this is why a lot of these guys in this business go broke. Um, and it's because they either haven't learned how to run this the right way, or they're not willing to learn, which that's people that aren't willing to learn. I mean, we all know what happens to those types of people. It's like they're gonna run themselves out of the business. Um, but yeah, it's a huge thing, man. I'm curious with where your mindset is now, because I don't know if you remember this, and I think it was the last interview. It might have been 2 interviews ago, or I remember I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring you back on when you're making 20K a month, and obviously you're.
You said that?
I
I don't
said that.
remember.
I said that. I think that on our first interview. Uh, I'd have to go back and look because we've had like a couple different interviews we've done here.
Yeah.
Um, but with what you know now and how you have things set up, so we're in 2025 right now, and you're 40 right now, right? So it's like
Yep.
when you're 45, where do you where do you imagine your business is going to be around that time for you personally?
It's a great question. Um, what do I want?
Yeah, what do you want, or where do you yeah, where do you want this business to be when you're that age?
Doubled, I'd say, from now.
So doing
Doubled.
like 500,000 per year.
Yeah.
Got it.
By then, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious with, so let's say you're doing 500,000.
Yep.
Do you think it's possible to do that with the same sort of setup you have now, as far as like you're renting out hourly, right? Different.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like, do you think you could do that without having your own standalone location?
Yeah. I would probably just need to get an additional time, split up the kids probably. So for example, like let's say I have my group is my main program, which generates the most, which is the highest ticket, is say fifth through ninth grade, right? Everyone's together. So and we have 1 hour Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I would just probably split that and like the ages and
Hmm.
then do 2 times.
Got it. So you could take on
Yep. So you can
double.
just take on more kids eventually, and then keep having a high investment, and yeah, that would be it. So I would maybe add a 5:30, 6:30, 6:30, 7:30, or 6:30, 7:30, and 7:30, 8:30. Go back to back.
Hmm.
If I had to, like the kids got it just got done. It's all about the numbers. I mean, if the numbers got so high,
Hmm.
because right now I'm working on, I've raised the investment. Um, so because you can make even more working with less people if you charge more,
Yep.
right? Get more people or charge more.
Hmm.
So right now I'm working on charging more, working with more high quality people who are completely 100% in. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's what I would do if it got to the point where the numbers got that high.
Yeah.
And if I double that, then that means I've doubled the business,
Right.
which is extremely possible. It's just
Yep.
making sure the gym time is available. But I have like 6 gyms within a 25 mile, 25-minute radius here
Hmm.
that I rent out on a consistent basis. And it, people um who can't find a gym are usually not looking hard enough. Like
Yeah.
you're not obsessed with it. You're just, oh, I don't have a gym. Well, why aren't you making? Oh, no. Are you on Google putting in, okay, churches near me? They all come up on the left side.
Show
St.
up to the
Barbara's,
churches.
call.
Right.
St. John, call. St. Joe's, call. Like you're
Right.
not doing that. You're not doing that. You're not. There's always places available. There's places available that you don't even know. That
Hmm.
that pisses me off. Like because I mean, obviously you talk to more coaches than me, but just like the excuses people make, like
Yeah. Yeah. There's
it,
no.
with
Yeah.
there's more churches that have a basketball court in there that people just don't use, that they just don't know about it than you think, and you're just not calling, or you're
Yeah.
not showing, like you said, showing up is you're not obsessed,
Yeah.
and if you're not
That's.
obsessed, it's like you're not going to win.
Yeah. 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 And I think people that do this seriously have a sense of desperation when they approach stuff like this. They're like desperate to go get that right now, desperate to call
Yeah,
50 different places.
yeah.
And that's how, like, I've always been that way since I've been self-employed since 2009. It's like I have it's like a dark mental place that I go to every morning when I wake up that is like, I'm never going to work for anyone ever. And like,
Mhm.
it's just never going to happen. So no one's going to tell me what to do. My wife's not going to give me a high five when I get done working at the end of the day. Like, it's like, I'm going to go get this done. But it's like having this sense of urgency is something that people, they either have it or they don't. It's like, doesn't matter what I tell them or how many times I
Yeah,
tell someone to go look for something. It's like, either got it or you don't. And there's reasons why coaches can do really, really well in this industry. It's because they have that part of their DNA, and it's like they'll just follow through with what they say, and they don't break promises. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, man. So I just did some while you were talking. I looked this up. So do you think there's 125 people that live around your area that on average can give you $4,000 per year?
125 people in my area that on average can give me $4,000. Yeah,
Well, you're at $500,000 right there if you do that.
let me write that down.
$4,000, 125 people
125, 100 that give 4K that end up for the year.
for the year. And
That's that.
that could be them
Yeah,
paying $4,000 up front. That could be paying them, 4,000 of the year. That could be doing some training, some camps, but 125 people that pay you $4,000 over the course of the year. Um,
that's
you're there.
definitely that is more than that. I didn't even break that down. And that's. Because right now, that's one of my options is 6 months for 2K.
Yeah.
So,
So
um,
you could
and
sell that.
that's not even without camps or clinics. That is a
Yeah.
huge, is a huge revenue driver.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's not too bad at all, especially when you're running ads. Um,
Right. And you could
that's
do all that. Potentially, you could do all of that without having to hire coaches.
oh for sure. Yeah,
Right. And that's where,
if I added that yeah,
yeah,
if I added that time, I could that I definitely wouldn't need anybody unless I wanted to kind of cram them all in one session. Then I would probably
right.
just for numbers wise,
Yeah.
um, so it looks better. But no,
Yeah,
that's
man.
definitely possible.
It's not a lot of people. I know there's more than 125 people per day that are seeing you on their screen.
Oh yeah,
So, so it's
way more
like,
than that.
so we're just looking at a small fraction
Very
of
small.
also probably a small fraction of the amount of people you talk to throughout the year, if you think about it. Because
What do you mean by
like
that?
people that get on a sales call or people that opt into your newsletter or people that just give you their info. Like we're talking about a fraction of those people to pay that amount.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not it's not like a like, oh my gosh, there's no way I could do that. It's like, no, like, I mean, you could absolutely do that. I think you posted the other day, you have like what, 70 members right now? Something like that.
70 in my 70 in my main program and then another 57 in my little kids
Right.
program.
Got
With
it.
that's a
Right.
lower
More
ticket.
affordable.
But it's only 1 day a week.
Yeah. Got it.
So we got 57 kids in that.
That's awesome.
Um and then 70. So I mean what's that? That's like 125.
Yeah.
That's 120
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
So that would just have to jump up those
Hmm.
younger kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely when you break it down like that, it's actually closer than I thought.
Hmm. Yeah. Definitely doable. Okay, cool. For the people that are watching this, that maybe they watched the first interview with you, uh, that we did a long time ago, or
Yep.
they've seen you chat with me. What's your, I guess, what's your personal biggest takeaway of being in my program since you've been in it?
I would say number one, being able to ask questions.
Mm,
Because it's very difficult to do a business and you can't bounce ideas off of anybody or get feedback. Even when you know what you're doing, you still need a coach, right? Just
mm,
like you coach kids, you're still always going to need help, right? Even
mm,
if you're doing really, really well, you still need help. So just being able to communicate with other people doing it and communicate with people who are doing it at a higher level than you is is really, really helpful. Next is, talking to more people and especially doing it like on Zoom. Um, which I was like dreading doing when you first told me that. You're like, oh yeah, I do calls on Zoom now. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. And now you can't even talk to me
unless it's on
if
Zoom.
you don't talk to me on Zoom.
Mm,
I just I won't even bother with you. I'll just say, yeah, it's not a good fit.
mhm,
Uh, so, so yeah, being able to ask questions and being able to, learn how to do an actual funnel with the sales process with
mm,
qualified people who who um who are a good fit for your
mm,
program. Um, and then the third one is just having a structure to your program and not so it's not just like, oh, I'm going to sign up Johnny for a class or a lesson.
right.
I hate those words. I
Mm,
like get upset when people like even mention it. Like, oh, when are your classes? Like, no, like we have a program. Like this is a program.
right.
And like So yeah, so recap, number one, being able to ask people questions. Number two, the sales process of talking to people, especially on Zoom. And on Zoom is good because you can present your screen. Because when people hear it and they see it,
Different.
it's a different level of understanding and retaining it. And then number three is having that structure to your program with the correct culture. So if you can do those three things, and you're a determined person who can follow directions, you know, you can do really well. Um,
Hmm.
Most people aren't that determined though. That's the issue. They think, oh, it's just basketball. No, no, no. This is hard. Like you're not gonna just like your love for basketball isn't gonna get you through making money or
Correct.
or running a successful program.
Yeah.
And another barrier, and you know this better than anybody, is you feeling bad for like charging money because oh, I do it for free. Shut up. Like there's just no, like how are you gonna live, Johnny?
Yeah.
You got to be okay. If you don't, the people who say that, yeah, you would do it for free, but how long would you do it for free? Would that be the only thing you would do? How are you going to feed? How are you going to live? How are you going to feed your family? And when people say that, it's the you don't believe in yourself as much as you think you do.
Hmm.
That's why you're saying you would do that. And those are the people that charge a real low amount. You don't think what you do is worth that. So if you think that,
Hmm.
you have to get better. You have to get better. You have to make your program better. You have to be a better communicator. You have to have a better process. And you could do it. It's just most people who say things like that, they're like stubborn and stuck in their ways, and then they don't change, and then in result they don't make
Hmm.
the amount of revenue that they could
Hmm.
because that also stems from being not being coachable.
Hmm.
Because a lot of adults they think, oh, kids should be coachable, but them themselves aren't coachable.
Right.
They don't know how to be led. And in order to be a good leader, you have to allow someone to lead you first and follow them because you got
Right.
to learn. You got to learn from
Yeah.
them. You know,
Kids are kids
a
are
lot
so
of
much
people
easier to
are,
coach.
a lot of adults are hypocrites when it comes to that.
Right.
Um, they think that kid should listen to them like it's the gospel, but God forbid you listen to somebody else and don't and take their advice. Like
Hmm.
just like you tell them to practice, you have to practice doing the adult things which drive revenue. And if you don't
Right.
take the advice, you don't get the result. And too many people are stubborn and they think their way works. If your way worked, they wouldn't be talking to you. They wouldn't be in this position.
Right.
And that stuff like that drives me like crazy. Like you have to be coachable. That is
Yeah.
a pet peeve of mine in terms of what people do in the sports business. For some reason, they're just very hard-headed, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
you would know better. Like some people
Yeah.
are just
People.
so set in their ways. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's a yeah. A lot of it's ego. It's like they were the best
yes.
on their team. They played in college, had a scholarship. Think naturally that you're gonna just come in and start crushing in this business. And I think when reality sets in, people get to a crossroads and they're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep doing it this way and do it as a side thing. Or
Yeah, yeah. They
like,
never get past that
yeah,
barrier.
or they just blame. They blame
Yep.
their clients. They're not putting the
Hmm.
responsibility on themselves. I always point back to results of people that I work with that do really well. And there's, I mean, hundreds of these case studies. It's like every single person that does really well with me, they're all coachable and they want
Hmm.
to succeed for themselves more than I want them to succeed. Because like
Right.
I want someone to come into my stuff and crush it and go be our next success story. But it doesn't matter how bad I want them to do that. It's like they got to want it for themselves. Cool, man. Well, I have one last question. This is like probably the most direct question I've ever asked you.
Mhm.
But since you worked with me in our program, how much money have you made up to this point combined revenue?
Can I check my phone?
Sure.
All right, hold on. So on Stripe, $773,600, but it's more than that. because of Square.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well done, dude. That's huge.
Yeah. But yeah, Steph, more than that, I've gotten checks from schools. I've gotten PayPal or Venmo from
Hmm.
other places. But yeah, what number did I say? 773?
Yeah.
I never even checked that. 773. Yeah, so it's over 773,000 since working with you. And I would have never done that if I tried to. I tell you, I would never, if I didn't move forward with you after talking to you, I would have been mad at myself because I would have been still a phys ed teacher. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I wanted more. And I would have never figured things out. And I would have been struggling years of trying to, because I would have been copying other people.
Hmm.
And you taught me to do it different, but it way more efficient, way more structured, and the ability to get paid more by more committed people. And
Hmm.
I would have never even thought of that. I would have never even thought it was possible before talking to you because I had so many limiting beliefs going into it. And I just didn't know anything. And just being around you and around other people made me realize that, oh,
Hmm.
like they're doing it, I can do it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah,
That's
so
awesome, man.
thank you for everything.
Yeah. And I have to tell you this while we're live on air. Something that you have changed so much, and I don't even know if you remember this, but I think at the beginning of our consulting, you always used to be like, well, what if like this happens or what if that happens? I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. I still do that. I
You
still do
do
that
it
all the
so
time.
much less. You
Yeah.
do it so much less though. Um, and
Mhm.
I think it's really cool though, man, how you've just taken the reins. You've took the responsibility. You were clear with what you wanted, and you just have done it, and you're continuing to do it. And it's going to be cool to bring you on here when you're 45 years old, and we'll do this again, and we'll see
Mhm.
when you're at the half a million mark.
Absolutely. I do have to run. I gotta
Cool,
call
man.
up the parent. But
Awesome, dude. Thank you
all
so
right.
much, man.
You're welcome, man. I'll see
All
you.
right. Peace.